Hello, hello. In this video, I am going to walk you through how to submit the weekly writing questions into the Google Classroom for our SPC training program. Okay, starting out, I will show you what the writing questions actually look like. Okay, they look like this. You will have one set of writing questions per week. Since we have training on Tuesday and Thursday, that means that the writing questions will only occur on one of those days, not both. So for week one, you have writing questions that correspond to the lectures given on Thursday. Okay, so you can see that here in the title. And we make it pretty clear through announcements and through the title of the actual document when the writing questions, which day the writing questions are going to be for each week. So for week one, you will do your writing questions on Thursday. In week one, on Thursday, there are 3 lectures. They are entitled Building Rapport, Gathering Information, and Risk Assessment. Okay, so generally, you will only have one question from each lecture on that day. Okay, so how do you actually find the writing questions? There's 2 methods. First, you can find them in the Google Classroom. Okay, so if you go to your Google Classroom and you go to this classwork tab, you scroll down to the weekly materials, and you'll find week 1, okay? And then you would find the week 1 writing questions right here, okay? So you can find them here, all right? Now, the important thing to remember is that when you are filling these out, please do not open the questions with a Google Doc. And then start filling them out in the Google Doc. I don't even know what's going on there. Why? Because the Google Doc will then be posted for publicly in the weekly materials for everyone to see your responses. Okay, so you don't want to do that, but you can find them here and you can download them. It may look a little bit different on your computer. On my computer, the way that I would download them is to click on this little print button, and then I can see here that I can download them, right? Okay. If you do not want to use the Google Classroom to find the writing questions, actually, I think it's simpler and easier to download them via email. So every single night before training, if there are relevant training materials, learning materials, such as lecture notes, writing questions, or handouts, you will receive an email prior to training, maybe a few hours before, maybe the day before, but somewhere pretty close to the actual training class, to the actual time that we meet for training, that has all of your learning materials, okay? So, for example, here, okay, so you'll receive an email that looks something like this: SPC training, week 1, Thursday, learning materials. Since our writing questions for week 1 are on Thursday, we can find week 1 writing questions right here. And then we could save them, okay? We could also open them, okay? All right, so now you have it downloaded, so that's good. So that means that you've already downloaded the writing questions and you have them open before you start training. If you don't have them open already, or if you haven't downloaded them prior to training, you forgot, it's okay, because like you can see, it pretty much just takes a second. Go into your email, find where a training supervisor has emailed you the learning materials for that night. If we have writing questions that night, they will be in there, and then you can just open them directly. Yeah. Okay. So during the training, as I said, each one of these writing questions corresponds to a question which is actually embedded in that lecture. So for example, let's take, for example, risk assessment part 1. You find the question here. Okay, so for the sake of this example, I'll just read it. There's quite a few risk assessment questions that we try to ask every caller. It could almost seem like your role as a crisis counselor is scripted. However, we know that genuine or unscripted rapport and human connection is critical. How do you anticipate avoiding sounding like you're reading off of a checklist while still getting in most of the risk assessment questions? Okay, so when do you fill out this question? Well, when it comes up in the lecture. So during the risk assessment lecture, the presenter will be, okay, you will see it like this, right? Or you'll actually see full screen, whatever. Okay, you will be watching the actual PowerPoint, right? And the lecturer will be giving the lecture, and then a slide will appear like this. And the question is exactly the same as the question that appears in that separate Word document. Okay, so when this appears in the lecturer will give you will read off the question, and then will give you a couple of minutes to start filling in your response. If you don't completely finish or have time to complete your response during that lecture, that's okay. You can always finish it after training or the next day, because the writing questions, are always due on Friday at 5 p.m. Okay, so once you've gotten to this question has appeared, the lecturer has introduced it and has given you a few minutes, then you would go back to your Word document, okay? And then I would start writing my response, right? So, well, I'm not sure, blah, 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 right? Okay. Obviously, your response is going to be a lot better than that. Okay. Once you have finished filling out the writing questions for the whole night for training, then you're going to save them. Okay, so week 1 writing questions, maybe I'd put my name. Okay. I'll save it in here. Okay. Then what do I do to actually submit them? When I'm ready to submit them, I would go back to the Google Classroom, and I would go to this classroom work tab, and then I would scroll down to assignments, quizzes and assignments, and then I would find week 1 writing questions, submit here. I would click on this. Okay. I would view the instructions. Well, actually, this is in teacher view, sorry. Okay, so in student view, which is what you're going to have, then I would scroll down. I would find the week 1 writing question, submit here. This is how you're going to see it. View instructions. And then okay, just to show you, because I had already submitted something. So then you would click, okay, you'll see your work, add or create. And then you go down and find file. Click on file, click browse, and then week 1 writing questions, Julie Carson. These are the ones that are completed, that are filled out. Upload. and then turn in. And that's it. If you have any other further questions about the writing questions or how to submit them on the Google Classroom, please feel free to reach out to me. My name is Julie, or any other member of the training team, and we can help walk you through it. Thank you so much.